Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the disc and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, everybody? It's D to the J with the Rollaway, and it's time for episode 98 of My CP Does Not Define Me. 98, and don't be late because this episode is gonna be great. Yeah, I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. Actually, I did, but here we are, another Wednesday late in June, June 29th, 2022. About to celebrate our independence, 4th of July. Coming up very quickly, big weekend, hot dogs, hamburgers, cookouts, going to the park, people traveling, all for one thing, independence. Now, I had a guest for today, or I thought, and something happened, and I decided to make a change at the very last minute, as in 5 minutes before the show started. See, I wasn't going to do that because I'm not going to say any names, or I'm not going to, say why or what happened. Something happened, and I'll put it this way: I didn't, I didn't expect it. I thought something was going to go another way. Guest thought something different. Didn't work. I said, it's okay. I got it. So here I am by myself today, and it's okay because I always have a backup plan and I'm always ready to go. Now, here's the thing. I want to go over this because, well, I want to go over this because I'm going to. Because independence kind of falls with what I'm doing. Hey, Justin and Melissa, how are you? Hey, Cindy, how are you? I'm the type of person that if I text you or if I ask you a question, it needs to be answered. I'm not texting you out of thin air. I'm not asking you a question out of thin air to be asking you a question. I'm very structured. I do things with structure. Now, independence to me is an important thing. But see, to me, there's two different types of independence. There's there's independence in which you're on your own and doing things for yourself. And then there's independent thinking, where you're trying to solve a problem, you're trying to negotiate through something, you're trying to get through something, and you don't want to bring other people into it except the ones that are closest in your circle. The problem with that is sometimes the people that you trust the most can let you down. So we all have to be, excuse me, independent thinkers, okay? Because it's going to come down to it where it's just the world and us. Even the people that are closest in your circle may not be there, okay? And I look at life like this. Life is full of curveballs. You never stand up to the plate and get all sliders, all fastballs. Sometimes you get a changeup. Sometimes you get a curveball. Sometimes you get a slow pitch. And sometimes you get decked in the dome with a fastball that you weren't ready for. So I'm a very independent thinker. Okay. And I know when someone, I can tell when there's a little bit of, I guess, apprehension in what's going on. And I'm very quick to diagnose an issue. Now, I'm not saying I'm never wrong, because no one is always right. And I want to get that out there quick. No one is always right. Now, independence to me is a freedom in itself. Because to be able to think for yourself and to be able to do things for yourself is a gift. It's a gift because everybody, when we come into this world, we're helpless. We're baby infants. We have to be fed, clothed, rolled over, changed. All we do is pee, poop, eat, and sleep. Okay? And cry. We got a good set of lungs. Pee, poop, eat, sleep, cry. That's what we do. Coming into this world, we are completely helpless and have to be provided for. In our first day we're on the earth till we're about, I would say, anywhere between 14 or 15. We are molded. We are taught. We are shown things. We are given ideas. We are told what to do. We're told how to do it. We're taught how to put our shirt on, how to put our pants on, how to tie our shoes, how to dress ourselves, how to go to school, how to eat lunch. All of these things mold us and bring us and grow us into who we are. But the problem is, throughout that process, humans start to do something that make us different. We are influenced by others. We are pushed in other directions by people. But eventually, we start to think for ourselves. Now, I didn't say this earlier, and I meant to. We are live on Facebook, we're live on StreamYard, and we're live on the Disability Global broadcast on this 29th of June. So those of you that have come into the show, I thank you for being here. Okay? The people that are here are supposed to be here, and I appreciate that you showed up. So going back to what I was saying, okay, because I don't want to lose my train of thought. From our very early days till about, I would say, between 13 and 16, we are molded. But somewhere in life, somewhere in that mold, our parents usually ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? Okay, we get little nuggets that show we're independent thinkers. Okay? Do you like this? Does that taste good? What do you think about this? Okay? Do you like this dress? Do you like this shirt? Do you like this food? How do you feel about this? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite sound? See, we start getting these nuggets of information and go, wait a minute. I have the ability to think for myself. I have the ability to be what I want to be. Now, I want to read something to you guys that I pulled up this morning. And it says, to be an independent thinker involves independence, but to be independent for yourself involves everything that you have. To be an independent thinker involves independence, but to be independent for yourself involves everything you have. Give me a second here. I look at that statement and I read it, and that is a powerful statement. You know, all of us as people have rights, thoughts, minds, hearts that beat. And it really is something that is important to me, because the ability to think for yourself, the ability to be yourself, the ability to make a decision for yourself is powerful. And that ability is powerful because you have the right to think for yourself. You have the right to be yourself. You have the right to think about what you want. Okay? And when those decisions come into play, or when those decisions change, that's okay. Because those then become your decisions and your actions. So all of that means that you are becoming, or you have become, an independent thinker. Okay? And when you start doing things for yourself, when you start believing in yourself and understanding what type of female or male or whoever you are want to become, then you find your you. So why am I talking about all this? I'm very thankful for one thing. I'm thankful for a lot of things, but in this episode, I'm very thankful for one thing, because it is so important for me to be who I want to be. I was never told you can't do this. I was never told you will never be able to do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't do this. You know, you can't walk. You know, my family was very, you know, when I was raised, I was very given the chance to get out there. And it may have taken a little while, because when you have a child with hey Daniel, how are you, buddy? When you have a child with disabilities, sometimes it's different, and the parent takes a while to adapt. But I was never told you won't be able to do this. I was told, if you get cut up, messed up, don't come crying to me. Get your butt out there, do the best you can, and work with it. I am thankful that I was exposed to life. There are some people that are not given the chance to become themselves or who they want to be, because they are sheltered. They are left out and not able to figure things out for themselves, even though they can, and they have a perfectly great mind, but their body doesn't, no cooperate the way it should. Some parents, they take their children and they close the doors to the outside world, whether it's fear, whether it's, I don't want to expose my child to this, whether it's their narrow-minded thinking because of how they were raised and what they saw. There's a lot involved in that. But to become an individual and to say, I am, that is freedom in itself. And coming up on this Independence Day, I want to ask you, my viewers, one question. What makes you independent? What makes you who you are? You know, we're right here on the Disability Global broadcast, and I'm speaking today on this independence itself. But as I said, there's two different kinds. What makes you who you are? And I want to hear from my viewers. I want to hear from my commenters, from my YouTubers, from my Facebookers, from all these people that are up here. I want to hear from you. Because I can sit here all day long and I can tell you what makes me independent. I can tell you what makes me who I am. And I can tell you why. But that's my independence. What is yours? What is your independence? What makes you who you are? What are you grateful for to be independent about? Does this make any sense to you at all? Do you realize the freedoms that you have? It is such a great thing and a great freedom to be able to think for yourself. Now, I don't believe that children should be sheltered because, okay, let me go back for a second. I don't believe that children shouldn't be sheltered to a point. There's got to be a point where a child is exposed to everything they can be, because without exposure to the world, as bad as it is and as good as it is, you don't grow. You don't get a chance to grow. You don't get a chance to become what you are, because you don't have choice. When you're shoved in a room or you do the same thing all day every day, as in wake up, eat breakfast, go in your room, read a book, and you're in the house all the time. When you are not exposed to the outside world, even through school, a lot of things are exposed to children in school. But there's more than that in the world. It's a good thought here. Cindy said, I think I am dependent because I do things that other people don't think I can do. That's kind of where I'm going. And then she says, I am able to prove them wrong. Now, this is kind of where I'm leading with this. So we have all this negativity in the world right now going on, and all these crazy things, with our government. Sorry guys, my throat is so dry, my allergies are killing me. It is amazing to me that this world hadn't imploded on itself already. But once you get outside of school walls, once you've gone through the first through the 12th grade and you've graduated, or if you're lucky enough to get to go to school and get to experience those type of things, like getting out in the community to meet and engage with the other people. Yeah, that's okay. Now you think about that. Now in talking about that, to be able to do that, okay, and to learn, and again, then you develop your people skills. So all of this, that exposure, okay, allows you to go, and this says Facebook user, so I'm not sure who you are. Just let me know if you don't mind. To go and meet people, okay, when you are exposed to people, you learn a different culture. You learn how they speak. You learn how you talk. You learn how you carry yourself. You are around people, so you're not shut in. You're not cut off. When you are not exposed to the world and you're sheltered and you don't have that freedom to be somewhat independent, even though you have guidance. Now, I want to say this. There's a difference between guidance and being led. Okay? Guidance gives you ideas and help through certain vantage points, through certain pieces of your life. Okay? When you're in school and you learn math and reading and writing and all of these different subjects, and you're able to go through, you start learning about things you didn't know how to do. You learn how to do algebra. You learn how to do earth science. You learn how to do horticulture. You learn, about physical education and developing your body and eating the right foods and getting out and being active for at least an hour a day and learning physical fitness and learning about English and learning about different subjects all around. Some of you take Spanish, some of you take Italian, some of you take music. You learn about all these pieces. And in your development through young adolescence and through older adolescence, mid-teen years, going through school, you are given tools and you are given guidance to help you determine what you want to be. But when you are sheltered and told you can't, you won't, you shouldn't, I'm not going to expose my child to this because they may get hurt. Let me say this out loud. If you don't expose your child to something, they are going to get hurt worse. By taking away their independence and by taking away their chance to be independent, you are going to hurt them worse. You are going to deny them their freedom, because when I tell you this, families that shelter their children and think, I've got everything figured out. When I die, I've got this. When they die, she's got this. When they die, she's got this. He's got this. You've got to expose your children to as much as you can without hurting them, but they are going to get hurt at some point. But they are and will be resilient. They are and will be okay as long as it's not a violent situation. I am not saying expose your children or the people that you have to violent situations, but they have to know about violence. They have to know what it is. They have to know the difference between right and wrong. They have to get all of the exposure they can to be who they're going to be. Now, again, they have to be exposed to something, and there's only so much you can expose them to inside that four walls. You can have the TV turned on all day long. You can have the radio turned on all day long. You can have every teaching tool that you've got all day long. But if they're only exposed to you and they're not exposed to others, and they don't see how other people act when they're in a chair or they're in a walker or they have a foot that turns in and they look at them differently, they don't know how they're going to act. And this has to change. Our thought of I'm going to keep my child safe, that is a great thought. You can keep your child safe, but sooner or later, it is not going to be your child anymore. It's going to be your man or your woman that has grown into an adult. And let me say this live on the Disability Global Broadcast. Let me say this live on Facebook. Let me say this, live on StreamYard, live on YouTube, wherever you at, wherever you listen to, wherever you plugged in from. May sound like I'm preaching just a little bit, but sooner or later, that is going to be no longer a child. It is going to be a he or a she or an adult of some type, and they will go. Sooner or later, the parent is going to die. Sooner or later, the grandparent is going to die. Sooner or later, that child who is no longer a child is going to be by themselves, and they are going to be on their own. And because they've never been outside of those four walls and never been exposed, hey, Nikki, never been exposed to the outside world. They've never gone outside. They've never went down the block. They've never went to the store and gotten a loaf of bread. They've never done any of the things that are necessities of life, as it were. Almost went English for a minute. Almost necessities of life, as it were. If I could, just a moment, do the English accent because I like it, and there it is. I'm just saying to you as a people that we have got to expose our children to as much as we can before they become adults, because if we do not, they will crumble and be a shell of their former selves. Therefore, you must expose your children to lots and lots of things as it is. Now, this is a great comment right here. I like this. But if they have no knowledge of the community, they could get into harsh situations if not taught through skill building. Understand, this is what I was talking about. If you are in four walls and all you know is what one person tells you, there's only so many skills you build, okay? You have to be exposed to as much as you can. And yes, some things are going to hurt you, but you have to build up another thing. And you have to build this up quickly, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And it's called resilience. Okay? You have to build up a tough skin. Hey, Josh. Hey, Kim, how are you? I look at it and it's one of those things. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't want my child to get hurt. Nobody wants their child to get hurt. I understand this. Trust me, I understand this. I hate seeing children get hurt. I can't stand it, but it is what it is. Things are going to happen to that child. When that child falls off that bike for the first time and they're riding that bike and they got the helmet and elbow pads and knee pads and face mask and goggles, and you got them bubble wrap from head to toe where they can't even pedal. They're trying to pedal the bike and they can't pick up the leg because you got them in 6 feet of bubble wrap padding where they can't pedal. So you take some of the padding off, and a little bit of skin is exposed. Oh, Josh, you think you're funny. I got you. She was talking to me. But anyway, you take a little bit of the padding off, right? And that little bit of padding, they fall and they nick or cut themselves. And they, oh my God, Mommy, I cut my hair. And they freak because it's the first time that it happens. And mom freaks, but then wait a minute, what happens? Mom goes into mama mode, and it's okay, baby. Come here just a minute. All right, stand up. You still got all your fingers? You still got... Exactly. I mean, they need to fall. They got to fall because you got to learn to get back up. Do you know how many times I've fallen on my dome? That's probably why I got CP now. Yeah, it's good to get hurt every now and then. Now, I'm not saying if you break your arm, the parent tells you, be tough, tape it back up, get back on there and go again. That's not what I'm talking about. There's got to be a physical toughness in life that a child develops when it's a child, so that when it's an adult, it can go on through life and go, I'm a manly man. I am a womanly woman, and I can take on anything. God, I'm glad I don't sound like that in real life. Jeez. I'm just, okay, so understand where I'm coming from. And please Take this to heart, because if you don't take it to heart right now, and parents, if you don't start letting your kids be kids and get out and get dirty and fall and get scratched up, they're gonna be all right. I used to okay. Let me tell a little story. Can I tell you a little story while I'm up here? Of course I can, because it's my show. Guess what I'm going to? When I used to live in right outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, I was about 2-3 years old, and we had a gravel driveway. That was about 20 foot gravel driveway. Do you know that I used to crawl on my hands and knees on that gravel driveway to toughen up my skin? And it didn't bother me. I picked up rocks. I probably ate a few of them, rolled in them, and I got cut up and my skin got shredded some. And I rolled through dirt and rolled down hills and played with dogs and chased after chickens and pigs and come here, girl, got it, I did all of that stuff. But in that, when I crawled around, and I crawled on all different types of surfaces. I crawled on paper, the carpet, and wood and gravel and dirt, and I had to get around. I had to move. I had to develop. I had to become what I was going to be. Basically, I had to have something to toughen me up. And if I would have been a little sissy and not been exposed to anything and not learned about anything, you cannot shelter children all the time. People have to learn to be. And if it's called life. You get up and you try again. That's very, very well said. But you see all of this, and you see children that are outside for the first time at 15 and 16 and 17. They've already been sheltered too long. I'm not saying they can't learn. I'm not saying they can't gain knowledge. But if you don't start developing your children at an early age and give them, and let me say this very slowly, a healthy exposure to their independence, your child is going to grow up doubting itself, not learning from itself, because it is sheltered for too long. CP is good. I learned a lot, especially with wobbly legs, fall down so many times, but I still love it. But it's not, but on top of that, I get what you're saying. It's not the CP that allowed you to learn. It's you. Okay? You learn that when you fall down, you don't have a choice but to get back up, because if you don't, you're not going to go anywhere. You can't stay in the same spot in life. If you stay in the same spot in life, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If you stay in the same spot in life, you're going to have a giant pile of poop and a giant pile of pee all in the same area. You're going to be dirty. You're going to be smelly. You're going to stop growing, and you're going to die. Okay? If you stop trying and stop living and stop trying to be something, you're going to die. It doesn't matter how many family members you have. It doesn't matter how many people you have to take care of you. Eventually, life is going to bite you in the butt, and it's going to be over. And if you are stagnant and you're not given knowledge to grow and to seek your own independence, and this is the word that I want to talk about on this show. Finding your own independence is difficult because some of us have lived with our moms and our dads way too long because we don't know how to experience life outside of those four walls. Some of us are 40 years old, 45 years old, 50 years old, still living at home. Now, if you got a job and you're working and you're doing the best you can, it's different. Okay. If you're not able to get out and live on your own, but you are being productive and you have productivity coming out of something and you're bringing something to the table, and I'm going to share this too. My mother told me when I finished school that I was going to go to college. Okay. And I moved to Waynesboro, Virginia to go to college. And I majored in communications and desktop publishing and graphic design. Okay. Now, did I plan on my first month of college? I called my mom. I said, I can't do this and I want to come home. This sucks. You know what my mom told me? My mom said, suck it up. You're going to do fine. Give it another 6 months. If you don't like it, we'll talk about it. And it's that toughness, it's that edge, it's that thought, it's that you've got to be tough on your children, tough enough to allow them to figure out things for themselves. Now, I'm going to give you an example. When a child is young, let's say from infancy to 3, okay? When a child is young and they learn to crawl, and a baby is now crawling and it's getting bigger and he's 1 or 2 years old and they put everything in their mouths and you tell the child, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Put that down. Put that down. Pretty soon, that child is going to do something they shouldn't. Okay? And I'll tell you, everybody baby proofs their house with styrofoam and bubble wrap and baby gates and all this. That's great. I think that's a great thing. I think you should baby proof your house as much as you can. But eventually, that child is going to find a penny and stick it in a light socket, or try to pull a TV over, or try to pull himself up by the couch, or try to grab a shelf, and a book is going to fall, and you're not going to be there to save that child. And that child is going to learn, oh, crap, that hurt. That child is not going to die from a book falling on the head. That child is not going to die from putting a penny in a light socket. It's going to hurt like heck for a second, and they're going to learn, oh, I shouldn't do that no more. Hopefully, I say hopefully, Cindy said this, tough parents are what we need in our life. Not just tough parents, Cindy, but tough guidance. Because some are not raised by their parents. And is it okay to still live at home because every situation is so different? Whether you work or not work, it's okay. And it's okay to have your family as home security. However, if you have the ability to work on your own and you can still stay home, it's okay. You want to live your own life, that's okay as well. And as I just said, as long as you're bringing something to the table, as long as you are being the best person you can be and contributing and not just sitting there like a stump doing nothing because you haven't been exposed and you haven't been shown, and that's all you know. See, this is where I'm going with this. A person is only going to be as much as they can be with the knowledge they're given. Yeah, parents don't necessarily have to be tough. Just give them room to go. Now, I'm not looking for contradiction. Okay. And this is starting to get into a little bit of that. Parents do have to be tough, because if they don't have sternness, then the child's going to get away with everything, and they're going to grow up to be a spoiled little brat and not listen. Because you have to have some kind of discipline in line to be that. You have to have some kind of rule system, of discipline to because you can't let them get away with everything, because sooner or later they're going to run you. I see children now talk to their parents like their parents are 4 years old. Gimme, I want. Buy me. No. You have to learn, and this comes through life experience, and it comes through discipline and self-respect and all of that. You have to learn to be stern, but to be respectful. And that's and a lot of people think my parents are my friends. That there's a fine line there, and it becomes independence, but if you still have to listen and you still have to learn, is all I'm saying from that. It's like you try to do the best you can, and parents are going to do the best they can because of what they were taught. Parents are going to be they're going to do the best they can on what they had, because remember, parents are most of the time going after doing something as to how they were raised, and giving a child room to grow is great. But pruning them and making them understand what's right and wrong is better, because then when they go out and they grow, they know how to grow and why. I don't have a problem with a child living with their parents or a person living with their parents if they're working and contributing in some way. I don't have a problem if the person doesn't have the option. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that person has to give all they can and do all they can to help out, because sooner or later parents are going to get older. Sooner or later. Okay, and you can disagree with that. That's fine. But that doesn't mean I'm wrong and you're right. You have the ability to state your opinion, and that's fine. But moving on from that, it's all about where we are. Okay, if the child is stagnated and they're not exposed, they're not going to have that type of life to where they can choose their own independence. Okay, because they're not going to have room to grow, because again, if they're behind those four walls and that's all they know, then that's that. That's the way it works. It is to a point that someone will say something and agree or disagree, but their independence still matters. Their independence still matters. They still have to grow, and they still have to be. And you look at your life right now. Where are you sitting? What are you doing? Are you doing what you want to do? Are you sitting in the same house doing the same thing every day because it's all you know? If you're sitting in the same place because that's all you know, how do you grow outside of those walls? And when the persons or people that raised you are gone, then what do you do? Because then you're on your own and you have to figure it out for yourself. Then you're on your own and you don't have that guidance. Then you're on your own and you can't move outside those walls unless you do it yourself. Because no matter if we like it or not, there's going to come a point where you're on your own, okay? Because everybody else is gone. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have people around you. Don't misunderstand me. I'm saying that you're going to be on your own. There's going to be a point in time where you're on your own in life in some way, shape, or form. And if you don't make a decision for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. Whether it's picking out what you want to wear, whether it's, deciding where you want to go, what store you want to go to, whether you decide what socks you want to put on. Hey, Ms. Winter.
Hey.
So, let me just finish this statement as I bring Miss Winnie in here. Independence, as I said, there's two types. And for somebody else to have a different opinion than me, that's okay. And that's why I asked who this person was earlier, because I like some of the things that they're saying. I don't mind if somebody has a different opinion than me, because they're not verbally bashing me or anything like that. That's okay. And I don't believe but there's a difference in toughness and being too tough. And the reason I brought Miss Winnie in here is because some situations are different when it comes to independence. Some situations, there's only so much exposure you can give. And this is a delicate topic either way, guys. What's coming up on the 4th of July, even with our independence, I want you to look at it and think about this. If you don't develop your brain, if you don't push yourself to grow and read and understand, and parents don't push their children to understand as much as they are capable of understanding within their own abilities, that brain is going to turn to mush. And when that brain turns to mush, they're like, oh no, it's too late. It's too late. So I brought the visionary in, as it says, because I don't get a chance to do this often. And I'm glad she came in when she did. I only got about 15 minutes left, but Miss Winnie is with me most of my everyday life. Now, not physically, she's just up here. I carry Miss Winnie up here all the time. I call her when I struggle. I call her when I'm having a good day. I call her when I'm having a bad day. But with her lifestyle and her children, independence is a little bit different because of one person, and that's Kelly. She has to mold her independence a little bit differently because of some of the exposure is not good for her. Some of the exposure can be harmful. So she has to decide what she's going to do. But let me ask you this. I see a lot of children that are sheltered within four walls, and they're never exposed to the outside world. They're never taken outside. They are shunned away from the outside world because their parents feel that they don't want to expose them to the outside world because it's too painful. Do you think a child's growth will be stunted in that development eventually?
Well, I say this. I say it depends on the individual themselves. And so that's when you said earlier that okay, so let's talk about the children. Let's talk about each individual person, because it does truly depend on each individual person. And you said earlier, and I remember, it is a delicate situation, a delicate conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so in conversations like this, it's almost like you have to be very careful in words, because it could offend some people that probably have no other choice. You know, so I would say, and if a child is capable and able to get in and out of their bed, get in and out of the chair, if they're in a chair or not a chair, if they're capable and able and not bedridden, can get outside, and a parent choose to keep them in the house, I don't think that's good for the child at all. That's a parent's decision.
Right.
And you're not allowing your child to be exposed to other things, and let them be able to allow them to be able to grow up and have opinions and choices and be exposed to other people and things. So that can hinder them a lot as they grow up. It can. So I was a few years ago, we were in Richmond at a Special Olympics event. It was this fellow there. He was, I think he said he was like 38 years old. And that was, and when he met someone just being at the store, he met someone by talking, because he went to the store with his mom, that they do Special Olympics. He decided to go join Special Olympics. He shared the story with me. That was his first time being exposed to the community and being outside. And he was so excited about being around other people, because he said, I was closed in. My parents kept me closed in the house. They didn't take me out in the community, allow me to join other things. But the Special Olympics gave him freedom, and it opened him up to more things that he didn't know that he was capable of doing, because his parents never allowed him to do those things.
Right.
So once again, yes, it can really hinder a person. But thank God, whatever he was doing at home, he was learning still somehow. So when he was able to go out in the community and engage with others, he knew a little bit better. He wasn't a stranger danger. Everybody is a stranger to him, or anybody could just call his name and take him away because he don't know no better. So it depends on each person. But that there was the first time that I realized that this is still going on. Because back in the day, parents used to hide their children.
Right. And see that, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right there.
They were ashamed and didn't want them to go out, and they just hid them and kept them at home.
No parent, I don't think any parent should be ashamed of their children. A child is a gift from God. A child is a gift from God.
It's unfortunate, DJ, that some parents are just like that. It may be because of who they are, and they can't get past their status, and I have a child with a disability. That's sad, yes, but don't stunt your child because of your image, or what you call the image, and not giving your child the ability to get out and engage with other people.
Now, I want to say this real quick. I commented earlier on parental toughness. Now I'm gonna say something. Miss Winnie is a tough lady. Okay, she's been through it.
But I'm a little soft.
A little bit, soften up just a little bit. But I want to say something. I want to say something to what this person said earlier. Okay, and I want to highlight this because it's a good comment. This is a good comment. I don't know who this person is. I disagree. Discipline is what they need, but you don't have to be tough. You teach them if you know they are capable. Okay. I want to say something so that to this comment. Sometimes children are going to push you to your limit because they can. And sometimes no is no. Go to your room is go to your room. And you're going to do what I said is you're going to do what I said, because children will push limits. I love Miss Winnie with all I'm worth. And the reason I brought her on here, and maybe she'll shed a little bit on this, because see, she's the boss lady. We can go along with what. But I'm just saying, I don't think she will mind me saying this. She lets Kelly pick out her clothes and do the things that she is capable of doing, but she also has tough discipline, and discipline doesn't mean tough if the child doesn't like it. You understand what I'm saying, Miss Winnie? I, I hope you do. I hope you that made sense. I really, you have to be tough sometimes. Am I right or wrong? I don't want to.
Okay, so when you use the word tough, I don't feel like you always have to be tough. If you teach them at a young age, discipline, yes is yes, no is no. You could do this, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Tap that hand just like you would tap anybody else's hand, any other child hand. If you start at a young age, then you will hope and pray that as they grow up, you won't have to be so tough because now they know these things that mommy or daddy has already taught them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you won't have to be tough. So with Kelly being developmentally challenged, meaning for her, she's not at a 36-year-old level.
Right.
It should be 37 this year. She's not at that level. But Kelly does understand yes and no, right and wrong. I do say some of them are very manipulative because they can be manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful of that. They thinking that you don't understand and you ain't paying attention. Wrong one. Because I do pay attention.
Sorry.
She's sitting over here laughing, but she's sitting over here laughing, but I know you cannot manipulate me because, listen, it just don't work. When you grow up in life and you're around so many things, situation, people, and circumstances, and all that, come on, and even your own child, you know when they being manipulative or not to try to get their way. It don't work like that. See, I don't believe in trying to be manipulative to get your way. Okay, you just either you ask and you could do it or you can't do it, and that's it. The bottom line.
Yeah.
But I don't think you necessarily have to use the word tough because you can't discipline without being tough. Sometimes you have to nail it, like
that's what I'm talking about.
Sometimes, okay, because they'll try to act like they know more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
But for Kelly, I had to learn to mold her, groom her, do all these things. So let's talk about growth. So Kelly was in a brief for years until 2013.
Mm-hmm.
2013.
I remember this.
She was.
Sorry.
Me and my stories, right? So, but it comes with growth. It comes because when you talk to your child and you don't hide life from them,
yes,
they will understand and they will get it and they can grow from your conversations with them. Mm-hmm. You don't baby talk them because they have a challenge. You don't do that. Because if you baby talk them, they're not going to grow.
Right. They're gonna talk to you that way.
Exactly.
Right.
And I never did that with Kelly. I always treated Kelly and talked to Kelly as I did with my other 3 children. Mm-hmm. I never made a difference in Kelly. So by me doing that with Kelly, it truly did help. It helped a lot with her growth and her mentality to where she can understand certain things. She can't read or write. That's one of her developmental challenges,
Mm-hmm.
She can't get out there and work or do all those things, So when it came to the brief part, she was wearing a brief. And I remember this one day, she ran out of briefs and I was like, oh, shoot. What am I going to do now? Mm-hmm. And I remember she had to go to day support that day too. So I said, Kelly, you always want to do things mommy do, right? And she looked at me. I said, you always want to do things mommy do, right? She said, yeah. I said, well, mommy gonna put some panties on you, okay? And she said, panties? Oh, underwear, okay? Let's just keep it real. We all adults here. Underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Underwear.
Cover what you got.
Right. Underwear, okay. I said, but mommy don't wear her underwears, okay? Mommy don't pee on herself. Mommy don't do all those things. So when I put them on you, you can't wet yourself. You can't poop on yourself. You got to tell somebody you got to go to the bathroom, okay? Now, mind you, I didn't know if she could or not because she's always wore briefs.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if she could say, okay, I got to go to the bathroom, or knew if she had to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was willing to try because of the simple fact that she listened and pay attention to everything. And because of that, oh, mama, you got on those type of earrings. I want to wear. Oh, mama, you got on this dress. Oh, my. So I'm like, If she recognized those things, right, if she recognized those, then she maybe and maybe not be able to understand and recognize that she need to go to the bathroom.
Right.
So if she need to go to the bathroom, then that means you got to let your staff know that you got to go to the bathroom so you won't wet your underwear. That was the first day and the beginning of Kelly ever wearing underwear and never went to briefs. The whatever you call them things, briefs. Let's just say briefs.
The overnight.
So you have to teach your children.
Yeah.
You have to challenge them sometimes. And the most important thing is pay attention.
One thing that you said, and I want to point this out. You have to start discipline at an early
young age.
Now, I want you to go back for the viewers that are still here. I want you to go back and listen to what Miss Wilson said. You have to treat them as you treat your other children. Don't treat them differently because they have a disability, in the sense of on their intellectual level. You pop that hand when you pop that hand. Yes means yes, no means no. They have to learn at an early age. Yes, Nikki, it is almost show 100. We almost there. Almost there. But I must say that I consider Miss Winnie one of the greatest storytellers to ever tell a story, because I can remember every story she ever told me from when I first met her all the way up to now.
All I do is call you.
And what I say back in this one when I was but here's the thing. To allow Miss Winnie is going to take a chance. And she did, because she said, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to figure it out. Oh my gosh, what do I do now? Sometimes you are presented with and I want to highlight this too, Miss that was a good teaching moment. And this right here, she learned because she took a chance, but she went to Kelly and said, okay, I'm going to do this. But if mommy does this, this means that you've got to let your staff know when you have to go to the bathroom. So, and in that essence, Kelly's growth happened because she did what her mother asked her to do. And those moments in life, those growth moments, kind of what we talked about earlier, are big. Celebrate those moments with your children, because then they feel appreciated, and so do you, because that knowledge is passed on. I have seen things in Kelly, even in I knew Kelly when she was 33, 32. I knew Kelly when she was 32. And I have seen her growth at, within things that she does, because Miss Winnie is teaching Kelly about her disability. My name is Kelly Smith. I'm 34 years old. I have cerebral palsy. And okay, she will pick up on everything. And she's in them conversation. I mean, in there. Just Miss Winnie.
Well, let me comment on that part because you're so right. And because I know her learning level just by paying attention to her. Because like I said, paying attention is so good because you can learn so much from your child when you pay attention. Just like with Kelly having that eye condition, I had no idea.
Did you also communicate to the staff as a backup plan?
I was getting ready to say that, but then I got to the other part. But with her level, I learned from her level because I'm always paying attention and I'm always listening to Kelly. Some parents tune their children out. Don't tune them out. Their words is just as valuable as anybody else is, if not even more. They are just as worth listening to, being around, taking out just as anybody else is. So it pays to really pay attention to your individual and have conversations with them. Me and Kelly have conversations all the time. So when Kelly went to day support, going back to that, when she went to day support, I said, it was kind of funny though, right? So my thoughts was not to say anything to the staff, but to see what Kelly does. But the staff ended up calling me anyway because I didn't call. I didn't say nothing when I dropped her off. I just wanted to see what Kelly would do.
What she would do.
So the staff called me and said, Miss Wilson, Kelly don't have any briefs on, but she just told us she had to go to the bathroom, and she did. She said, why didn't you tell us? I said, I really wanted to see what Kelly would do. And I didn't want y'all to interfere in that and distract her from doing what I asked her to do. Because if you distract her, then that might turn her off, disrupt her, and now she's going to she may or may not wet on herself because now y'all done said something and she might get a little confused because y'all might have said, oh, Kelly, you got on panties, girl. You better not. They could have said anything to distract her. I said, but I wanted to see what she would do, and she did just what I wanted her to do.
But
expected her to do.
But the other thing there too, Miss Wilson, is you trusted your child.
I was DJ. I believed in Kelly. I believed in Kelly only because of the conversations we have.
Right.
And if she have enough to say, recognize I got on a long dress and a short dress. Oh, your dress is long. I want one of those. Oh, you got on them type of earrings. Can I get those earrings? Oh, mommy, where you get those sunshades? So I listened to everything. So like I said, by my conversation with Kelly, that's what made me say, well, let me try this. And it worked. And she's been doing it ever since.
So let me just, I know we're over the hour, y'all, but give me a little bit because this is, we're hitting something good here and I want to make sure to get this out before so if you put something on Facebook the other day and I watched it and it was so cute but it was also, it touched my heart because Kelly kept looking back. Mom, are you okay? Mom, are you okay? Now I want you to understand something. Kelly cares about her mama. That's that, and for me to see this, and this is a two-part question, and I'm gonna ask the first part first. What, I know you put on Facebook. It seems like she cares more about me than I do because she's checking on me every 5 minutes. But how does that? The first question is, how does that make you feel to know that even though all the challenges that Kelly faces, that you're her number one? I mean, just to know that she's got your back as much as she can because you've had her back too. How is that? What does that do for you in everyday life? Let me just ask that first.
It melts my heart. It literally does. It lets me know that I've done a great job with Kelly. If I had not raised Kelly the way I did, who knows how she would be today.
Mhm.
So that lets me know once again that I've done some great work with Kelly. And I pay attention and I listen and I hug her and I kiss her. I kiss on her forehead, on her cheek, and her heart, her smile just melts my soul. So
She got that
how
smile,
can a
y'all.
parent not be so proud
Mhm.
and overwhelmed when the daughter just keeps on, Mama, you okay? You at the pool enjoying yourself, but yet you turning around to see if Mommy okay.
Mhm.
My heart just melts every time she does something like that. And she does it a lot. Even at home, she could be in her room and I'm out in the living room. Hey, Mom, you okay? Yeah. Well, you okay, Kelly? Yeah. And I just respond back with her too.
And,
So yes, it
that's
melts my heart.
that right there. You said another one. When your child asks you a question, or when someone asks you, respond to them.
Yeah.
Don't shut them out.
Yeah.
Because if you shut them out, it breaks them down. Now,
it just shut them down.
I love this right here. And is it Danita? I think it's Danita.
Donita.
Okay, Donita. Kelly is very intuitive. Yeah, whoo, she is. She is, because she can tell when I'm on the phone. Mama, that DJ, Mama. I just, but I have to ask this question to close, because I want to make sure, and in talking about independence, I want to get this out here. Let your child try new things within their range of trying new things. Don't stop them from doing something that they want to do. And I'm hoping she'll pick the story that I'm thinking about. But when Kelly is going to try something new, or when a child or an adult with a disability is going to try something new, what do you recommend as a parent of an adult with a disability? What do you recommend in them trying something new within their
ability? Ability. Because you have to know what they're capable and able of doing. And you can't give them something that you know for sure they're not capable of doing. For instance, Kelly had a stroke on her right side, so she don't use her right side all the time. That right side will stay still, and she'll try her best with everything with that left hand. And sometimes I have to, Kelly, if you use your right hand, because you can use it, if you just use that right hand, it can help you a lot faster than trying to do something with that one hand when you have to. So don't just disconnect your right hand because you're limited in it. Use it to help you with what you can. And every single time she do that, what happens? She get it done quicker than she did if she just continued to use that one left hand. Challenges have to come at what they're capable and able of doing. You cannot challenge a child with something you know they can't do. If you know without a shadow of doubt they sitting on the floor, they crawling, and you know for sure without any therapy or you get them up and down trying to stand them up and walk, you can't say stand up and they stand up. You can't do that. You can't say, girl, get up and walk, or boy, get up and walk, and they get up and walk. You can't do that without help, without getting therapy or whatever. And again, even with therapy, that still comes with what you know they're capable and able of doing. If you know therapy can help them, that's one story. If you know therapy will not help them because of their condition, you don't do that. You just don't do it. Because you have individuals that's bedridden. You know they can't get up and go to therapy or whatever. You can't do that. So every situation is totally different, but you have to pay attention to what they can and can't do in order to challenge them with what you know that they are able to do and may get better at one point or another if you stay consistent with teaching them that one thing so they can learn it. When it comes to me teaching Kelly how to say her name, her condition, her age, I did it over and over and over until it was instilled in her. Like you said, my name is Kelly Smith. I have cerebral palsy. I'm 36 years old. And you take one thing at a time and instill that. Then go to another thing and instill that. Then go to another thing. But you got to take it one at a time because you know how their learning ability is. So that's how I do it with Kelly.
Would you? And I was hoping, but we ain't got there yet. Let me see.
I know you wait for me to say something. Listen, DJ. I done shared so many stories. You gotta help me with this.
Watch this, y'all. Watch this, Miss Winnie. Will you share the water ski story? The water she got on the float surfing. I just want y'all to hear this because it's scary, but I I love her face because I'm sorry. I know the outcome of the story is why I'm
DJ. Every year they have surfing, for those with disabilities. I finally tried it with Kelly in 2019, 18 or 19, one of them years. I would never, ever, 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 ever take Kelly back again. My heart could not take that. I thought about that thing for years. For years. It made me just I thought I lost my child. So Kelly was on the surfs, and she had, when you go out there on the surfboards with whatever that organization is called, and they do every year for those with disabilities. And it's a moment of giving those with disabilities opportunities to do things that they would never be able to do if it wasn't for someone else. So they have this organization with many people that take the individuals out on a surfboard so they can get the moment of being on the waves and the surfboard in the water. So it was probably about 9 of them with Kelly. Oh, you got a good team. They're firefighters and this and that. And I'm thinking, I don't care who they are. I just need them to take care of my child while she's out there. So they went out there on the water, and all of a sudden, Kelly went off the surfboard out. My heart just like zoom. And everybody from that end and that end, they all coming this way. And they're like, oh my gosh, that scared me. And I'm like, how do you think I feel? I'm
sorry, y'all. Go ahead.
Like, scared you. You can only imagine how I felt. Life jacket, no life jacket. My heart sunk. So Kelly comes back up, and I'm like,
thank you, Jesus.
Get on thank you, Lord. They put her back on the surfboard, and they coming in. Kelly falls again. They closer to the land at this moment. Kelly gets back on that surfboard, and I'm like, bring my child in here. Bring my child in here. Don't take her back out there. Miss Wilson, she gonna be okay. No, she ain't. She need to come back on this ground with me. I can't take this no more. And everybody just looking. They made me scared of just looking. So they said, when Kelly said she wanted to go back out, I was like, at this point, I was like, I don't care what Kelly said at this point. Kelly words don't mean nothing to me at this point because my child went down in that water twice. That's a big ocean. That's a big ocean. And they was like, she gonna be up. Kelly came back. They took her out, brought her back in. Kelly got, brought her all the way in and everything. And I was sitting there, and her eyes just red, and she just smiling up a storm. I'm looking at her like, you smile like you had so much fun. While I'm sitting here, heart sinking in the sand, heart
My
somewhere
heart just hit the
else
sand. Mm-hmm.
in the sand. I thought I was gonna have to dig that joker out the sand.
Anybody got a shovel?
Come get my heart. I like the fate out there. That scared the living mess out of me.
Mm.
It scared me. Too many people came because they saw it. So many people saw that thing and came running. And I'm like, y'all running the wrong way. You need to be running out the water, not towards me, because that's what she had out in the water. But it
No,
was
they
a
were
scary
afraid you were
situation.
gonna swim out there and go get her. That's why they stopped.
DJ, oh my gosh. So I say this. They create these events for parents to allow their individuals or just the individuals that live on their own and so forth the opportunity to go out and experience surfing. And I think it's a good opportunity to do that because not everybody have those experiences like I did, those situations like I did with
Mm-hmm.
Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you're okay with that, by all means, do it. But Edwina Wilson is not okay with that ever again. I don't want to ever experience that ever again. I just don't ever want to experience it. Kelly, I was really upset though because technically Kelly does not know right and wrong when it comes to something like that. She did not know her life was at jeopardy doing that experience or the opportunity to get out there on a surfboard. She didn't understand that. So it really did make me mad that they
Right.
listened to Kelly because they thought she's able to make
Yeah.
decisions on her own. No, she's not. And y'all didn't even ask me. You just went by her word and just took her on out. So when it comes to giving your child opportunities and choices, well, opportunity, I ain't gonna say choice, opportunities like that, and they don't know how to advocate for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you have to let the people that's going to be with them know if anything goes wrong or any questions need to be asked in reference to this decision, ask the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the
But
parent.
I want to say something before we go, because this is just it's been on my mind, and I remember the first time Miss Winnie told that story, and I want to just share something real quick. When I'm up in heaven and Miss Winnie up in heaven, I'm just waiting for the day that she go up and God just smile. If God ever says, Miss Winnie, I had Kelly up on that surfboard, right? And just that moment, because Miss Winnie's passion for and love for her daughter and her children is so amazing. And I at first when I heard the story, I said, but Miss Winnie, it gave her something. She's nope, never again. Nope, never. I don't get it. Nope, never again. And at first I was like, why could you not? Some things people it's gonna stick. Some things are what they are. But I will say this, and I'm gonna close with this because Miss Winnie's mind and all of everything that she does and the stories that she's told stick. Everything that she's ever told me sticks like glue. It's in there. Once she tells it, I've just absorbed it. Oh, it's just gone. And we talked about the caregivers and parents and a night away or a camp that Kelly could go to. And when I told Miss Winnie about the 12-day camp that I went to, she said 12 days. Oh, I don't know about 12 days. But we talked about it more and more and more. And as we talked about it and we shared it, her thought kind of broadened from maybe a weekend, maybe a day, maybe you start to see when you have a staff in place, and let's think about this. Everybody needs a break. Everybody, you have to remember whether you're a parent, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're a daughter, a son, everybody needs a break from everybody. And because if not, it just bad things can happen. I'm just saying. My when I went to Camp Hill for 12 days, that was my respite. That was my week of as normalcy as I would ever see. What normal was to me. And to hear now, as long as I've known Miss Winnie, for her to allow the thoughts of different things in. Well, maybe we could try this or try this. It is amazing to me, even in the development of our relationship and me and Kelly and the whole Mr. Wilson, the whole 9 yards, to see the broadness of the things that Miss Winnie is able to, and I'm not sure if this is the right word, adapt to, or let Kelly try to adapt to. Let me see if it'll work this way. I may not be able to do 6 days or 4 days, but to let Kelly be Kelly is so valuable. And there's Josh right there. That's why I mentioned I knew you were there for what was it 16 years, Josh, or 15? I believe you were there 16, but I the safety that and that's important in a parent's, especially with any disability, whatever your child has. A parent wants their child to be safe because they don't want to have to worry about what do they have. It was 13. What do they have? What don't they have? I just, I
Are they
commend.
just safe?
Yeah,
Just
and
are they safe? Are they
that's a.
not being molested? Are they not being mistreated?
Mhm.
Is she being heard? Are they paying attention to her? Are they changing her on time? Are they feeding her on time? Do they
Mhm.
know that she need to be feed even though we told her? So it's a lot
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that. And it was a lot for me. However, I have gotten so much better. And even when she was going to day support,
Mhm.
2019, I
Mhm.
did finally say, okay, you know what? Because she wanted to go in transportation. She saw
Mhm.
everybody else doing it. And I was like, oh no, girl, I want to take you and pick you up. And I was like, if I don't let her try,
Mhm.
then I'll never know what she can or can't
Right,
do. And
right.
she'll never get that experience of just doing it by herself without mommy.
Mhm.
So I finally called transportation and set up for her to be picked up and brought home during transportation. I'm that mommy. I'm gonna call where my child at. Why she ain't home yet? So transportation here is not the best. It isn't. But to honestly see her getting, just happy getting on that van by herself.
Mhm.
And basically in her moment, she's like, bye mom, like I'm out of here. You go back in the house. And
You ain't go back in the house though. You got in that car.
so you had to follow her. So
Woo, woo.
I mean, it's I had to make sure that that they were doing what they needed to do and supposed to do.
And there's nothing wrong with being too safe. There's no such thing as being too safe, and
Yeah.
I admire that. But I know we got to end, but I got to ask this question: how did you get to the point to 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 not just transportation? I'm in general. What made you decide, or how were you able to decide to finally and I don't know if it's let go enough. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What made you decide I'm going to do this? Like whether it's whatever it is, whether it's I know you said you'll never um I know you said you never let her do the surfing again or whatever, but whatever it was that you decided to let her do, and when it comes to something new, how do you how do you decide? What do you say? Okay, I'm going to do this because what makes you decide to do it?
Well, one thing for sure, when it comes to balancing Kelly and myself, if I don't allow Kelly to do certain things, Kelly, I never had the opportunity to do it because I am her advocate, her mom, and truly I have to say so over these things because she just don't know. So she don't know what's out there. She don't know what's going on. She don't know any of these things because of her intellect ability. Kelly learns from me telling her certain things. She learns from either being in day support, she can hear other things. And you know, she learned to pick up stuff, even to cuss you out, okay? She did that before. And yeah, they called me about that. She cussed somebody out of day support, pinned them up at the wall too.
Won't take
That
her
one
food
girl
no more.
got see day support. So I let her go to day support, right? Day support is it's a way of giving them the independence when they can't do anything else, like go have a job. Kelly can never get a job. They say, well, she could get a job. Somebody just had to be with her every day. Who is going to do that we could trust and make sure that Kelly do and not be taken from anybody or whatever, you know? To make a decision, one for, and I'm gonna say what's my biggest one, to make a decision, we out this surfing one. I ain't expect that, but we ain't doing that ever again. So to
Y'all see me duck out the camera, it's because I'm laughing. I can't help it.
For transportation, I just felt she asked for so long. I was afraid because experiences I have had in Maryland. So I was afraid to allow her. That was just school bus. That was just a school bus too. So I said, well, she really wants this. And she see everybody else doing it. Some parents pick them up as I did. But I was like, Wendy, just try. Just give her a chance. That's all you could do. And you'll know whether she's there or not there. Okay. So like I said, I just made a decision to just give her a chance, do it. Just give her that opportunity to say she's catching the van by herself. She's going to day support by herself. She don't know direction. She don't know where her home is. She don't know if she's in a different area, whatever. Those things I had to literally set aside. I had to literally put behind me, erase all of those things and give Kelly that opportunity to say, I'm going to day support by myself and mommy and daddy is not taking me. And that was the only decision I could think of, is putting everything behind me and just giving her opportunity to do so. And seeing that smile every day, or some days it wasn't a smile because it was a bad day of day support, but just to know that she did this on her own, it made me happy. It made me happy that I let go and let her just have that opportunity to be a young adult and do those things that she know without a shadow of doubt is independence. Independent.
You know, we talked about this, and it's so powerful. You know, I'm not going to have all the answers, and everybody might not like everything I say on my show. Everybody might not agree with it. Everybody is going to have their own opinion. But the one thing I can tell you is you have to let your child grow, and stunting their growth will destroy them. And children are resilient, they are powerful, and they say things that will blow your mind. And I just want to say this. I was, when did most of the show myself, I had texted Miss Winnie in the middle, and I said, can you pop up here? And the reason why I asked her to come up is because in talking about independence, it is a freedom. It is a freedom. But it's so sad that not everyone gets to share it. And that's what hurts my heart as a human being, to see a child so sheltered that their growth is stunted before it ever has a chance to start. And it is hard. I'm not a parent. I don't have children. I want children. I don't know if God has that in the cards for me or not. I hope he lays down the deck soon enough because I'm getting older. But I'm just saying, whatever is in his plan for me, it is. But give your child a chance because they may surprise you. Miss Winnie, stay with me just a minute. I've got to tell you all this. I want to thank everybody that came up here and our new people that have come up. I'm sorry I didn't know your name. I wish you would have told me. I was so glad to have you. Um, we've done this. This is episode 98. We're 2 episodes away from 100 shows. I cannot do this without my viewers and the people that watch and share. Please share this. Please make it known. My everything is in the description with my new CD, My Chair. It is available on all platforms, all music media, Apple, Amazon, Pandora, Spotify. I'm pretty sure it's up on Mars somewhere. They got it broadcasting. Y'all go check it out. All the links are there for you guys. I always say this. Thank you to my guest to come in when she did. Miss Winnie's always just, her timing is so good. I can't even tell you. I said, man, we only got 15 minutes, and I look at the clock and said, never mind. We all right.
Just don't call me early morning.
Thank y'all so much for being a part of this. And Cindy, thank you. Nikki, thank you. That is so wonderful. A lot of people are asking what I'm going to do for my 100th show. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And it's coming. And I just hope that you will experience it with me. As I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with the roll away. Saying I will see you next Wednesday. Same bat time, same back channel for episode 99. And being fine of my CP does not define me.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. If you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, we post all of the show videos in our My CP playlist. I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. And if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.